Hey guys, welcome back to my vlog. So today is our third day here in Rome, and our food adventure began today with meeting with a famous food journalist here in Italy, and we went on a tour around the Rome city in search of good restaurants, good recommendations, and definitely good food. So we first started off by going to a farmer's market or fresh market in the city of Rome, where most of the residents will get their fresh products from this fresh market. Then we went along to a bakery called Roscioti, where we had the pizza bread and also the zeppolo o il forno, which is a type of pastry that was fried, and then in the middle it was filled with custard, and on the top topped with cherries. And it is actually a typical Easter pastry that the Italians and Romans really like to have. Then we continued our tour to a cafe called Lant Eustachio il Caffe, where we had their specialty espresso, which was sweetened. First it was sweetened and it had a lot of foam, so it was definitely a different experience from the espressos that I've had beforehand, where it was a little bit too sweet for me, but it was a good mixture of sweetness and also to counter the bitterness of the espresso. But what I really enjoyed about the drink was that the foam was a surprise to the drink, and definitely a very pleasant surprise. Then we head off to try some craft beer here in Baladin, which is a shop or a bar that specializes in craft beer, where they had more than 400 types of beers. So apparently crafting beer in Italy is a new trend that has been going on for the past decade, and it's gaining more popularity nowadays, with the younger generations liking beer more. And it was just really exciting to try different crafting beers where it has a stronger taste compared to commercial beers. And I personally tried the smoked ale, which everyone thought was smelled like bacon, but truthfully to me it didn't taste like bacon. It tasted like a smoked beer, so it was a special taste to I would say a medium dark beer, and it was definitely a very interesting taste, because I personally do not drink beer that much, but I really enjoyed the smoked ale beer. And I'll have to admit that I did have biases towards the drinking culture, because sometimes drinking culture is portrayed in a negative limelight in terms of movies. And for me personally and my family, drinking is not such a common practice. So I think this opportunity was a very good eye-opener to me, and to get rid of my negative bias towards drinking culture, where I feel that drinking is also an art if you proceed to do it moderately, and to really look into the taste and the quality of the drinks. Then we had a Domus Romana interactive experience, where we got to see a virtual construction of some of the ancient Rome ruins, archaeological ruins found in the city of Rome, namely the Palazzo Valentini, which was a palace at the middle of the city center of Rome, and also to look at the archaeological area of the Domus Romana. So it was a different experience, I would say, because we went around the archaeological site to look at the remains, which was described in detail about how it was in the past, and they even had virtual aids where they reconstructed the remains according to the archaeological sites found, and also to a certain degree of imagination of themselves. So they recreated the archaeological sites for us to get a glimpse into the lifestyle and into the buildings of the ancient Rome. Last but not least, we had the very exciting pasta making lab where we got to make and knead our own pasta ourselves. So the pasta recipe was actually 100 grams with 1 egg, where you knead the dough and you let it set for a while, and then you roll it out to be made into pasta noodles, which we made. We went through and we ate our own handmade pasta, which was delicious. I would have to say that it was a little bit different from the commercial pastas that I usually have, where I feel like the handmade pastas are a little bit more chewy and definitely very good to the taste. I would say it was definitely a very proud accomplishment that I personally felt, and I think it would serve as an encouragement for me to maybe incorporate it into my future meals, where I can probably make my own pasta and to make homemade pasta and to remember this lab of pasta making.